Hello and welcome back to the channel. You got me doing the intro this week, and thank you to Graham for holding the fort last week when I didn't really feel like doing much talking, to be honest with you. So by now you know it's been 2 weeks since poor old Merlin got attacked by vandals, and we're progressing slowly with things. We've actually been out in Merlin a couple of times since this happened. We went only locally, and this week we went to a place called Tredegar House. We'll show you some pictures. And it literally was for a couple of hours and a nice cup of tea. But it's good, it felt good. It's good to be out in the van, even in taking these small baby steps, which might seem very strange after everything we've done before. We're going out just for an hour or so to take somewhere local, again, somewhere fairly safe to park up, and we're going to take the dogs for a little walk. I think they'll enjoy that as it's such a nice day. So that's what's causing all the trouble, this little fella up here. Where's the squirrel, Maya? Go get him.
And it's back to Merlin for a mince pie, cuddle with the dogs, and a nice cup of tea.
And it was good taking the little dogs with us. See my little stooge? I hope you can see her, little Luna here. Anyway, I feel like I haven't known some of you for very long. We've had some amazing comments, some really, really incredible comments that have really lifted both Graham and myself actually so much. We realise that there is just so much good in the world. You know, these bad things do happen, but there are so many good people out there, so many kind people from all over the world, and we've been totally blown away by it, and realise that some of you don't actually know about us at all, really. So bear with me. I just want to give a little brief explanation as to why Merlin is so important to me and why I have been hit quite badly by this, really. Essentially, 13 years ago I was diagnosed with cancer. It was stage 4. And Graham and I went through a very rocky time when we didn't know whether I'd get through it or not. But essentially, I did. I had a stem cell transplant, and that went really well. But there were complications afterwards. And the residual effect of those complications are both physical and mental for me. So I have intermittent joint pain, which can be quite extreme. And I also have extreme tiredness, which I don't know when it's going to happen, so it's quite a hard thing to deal with. Also, I have PTSD due to some of the trauma I had when I was in a coma, and anxiety as a result of that. So, getting back to Merlin, Merlin is my safe place. My house is my safe place, Merlin's my safe place, and I have safe people, for example, Graham and my family and close friends. And they are my anchors in life. They help me to lead a normal life. So having this happen to Merlin has been very difficult for me. I am getting past it. I'm doing really well actually so far. But it is hard going because something that is seen as a safe place, to have it violated in that way suddenly makes it very unsafe. So I am working through it with Graham, and he's got his own issues with it, but we are getting there steadily. And it's, as I say, I can only thank you so much for all your love, care and support and kindness over this, because it really has been the main thing that's been driving us on and stopped us thinking, do we want to actually sell the van? You know, I think we've both decided now we definitely want to carry on with Merlin. We need to see in what capacity we do that, but hopefully that will become evident over the coming weeks as to how we move forward with that. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on moving forward. That's basically the theme of this vlog, because we feel it's time now to try and put some of the badness behind us and move forward with your support. Finally, I do just want to explain a little more about why Merlin and my health are so intertwined. Basically, when we go out in Merlin and we're off grid, it means that I can physically exercise in nature and feel really immersed in that. It's not quite the same if you just go out for a walk. That whole being out there for a length of time is really restorative. Physically it's great because it makes me exercise, which I need to do to minimise my physical pain, and mentally it takes away all the clutter of life and busyness, and it's just peaceful and quiet, and I really feel restored when I'm out there. I don't know if any of you can relate to that. I suspect there's quite a few of you out there who can understand what I'm saying when I say this, but that is why Merlin is so important to me. And that's why it's worth carrying on and trying to move forward with this. So thank you for your kindness and understanding. And I'm now going to invite Graham to come and join me and talk about today's vlog.
Hello everybody. Well, one thing that's clear, all the responses that we've had on YouTube, and obviously the fright of the event itself, has made us seriously consider the whole aspect of security. And we've broken that down, rightly or wrongly, we've broken it down into 4 different categories. The first one that we've always focused on is theft. The second one, which we now realise is much more important than we ever considered, is location. The third one, when I say location, I mean where we're actually going to be parking up for the night and sleeping. The third point, and we've really learned a lot from a lot of the comments on YouTube. A lot of the people have gone to great lengths to explain what's available. So we'll be looking at devices, I suppose you'd call them, to help us feel more secure and to deter anybody who wants to attack us.
Yeah, I suppose in a way to make Merlin a less of an attractive target, you know, for them to look at the van and look twice and think, maybe that's not a good one to do this to.
Yeah, and the fourth one is preparedness, the ability to get away quickly. I think we need to up our game with that if we're going to continue with wild camping. So they're the 4 categories really that we want to talk about. The first category is one that I think we've done quite well, so it's theft of the vehicle, and this would be if we park Merlin up and go for a walk somewhere and leave him. So there's quite a few things we already do there. We use the lock for the seat. I have done a vlog about that previously, so it might be worth having a look at that if you want to.
That works by turning the seat round, so someone can't basically get in the seat and drive the van off. They wouldn't be able to physically drive it. Yeah,
I wonder if they could sort of reach round. No, probably not.
They could do. What's that famous? Was it that lady? Was it Christine Keeler? Who was it who sat on the chair the wrong way round?
I don't know. I like the sound of it.
She had no clothes on, as far as I know.
Really? It wasn't Christine Keeler.
No, I don't know who it was. But anyway, you guys all know. Anyway, I wonder if she could drive Merlin the wrong way, with the seat the wrong way around. Stop it!
This vlog's going off.
Don't even think about it. Right, back on track. Anyway.
So there's that seat lock. There is the steering lock that we use. And I think with that, it's also quite important that you turn the wheel upside down before you put it on, so that would give
the wheels
greater difficulty if someone tried to drive it with it on.
Very small circle.
Yeah. I mean, you hear stories about people cutting the steering wheel to get rid of those things. So there are always ways around it.
Yeah. Slows them down though.
But it slows them down and makes it less likely that it would be stolen.
Yeah.
What else have we got?
Well, we've got the alarm that came standard with Merlin, and that works quite well. It's very loud.
The built-in alarm,
which we always set if we leave the van. Obviously, all of these are to do with leaving the van in a place when we go away somewhere.
Yeah, none of these things would we now do overnight if we're sleeping in Merlin.
No, and we never have really.
And the other thing is the additional locks that I had fitted. Hook locks that I've got on this van. quite a few people, by recommendation from my video, did actually have them fitted. So so that's good.
They are good, aren't they? Because they stop the opportunist thief just getting in there with a crowbar and sort of easily just breaking the standard locks and getting into the van to
we do also have
steal things, in fact.
Window locks.
Oh yeah, window locks.
They were quite cheap. I think a determined thief could get around them, but
slows them down.
It might stop some people. It's just a little metal bracket that goes over the handle that you have to turn up to open the windows. So it's very, very simple, easy to move if you want to open the windows. So that's the theft. I've also got a wheel clamp. I have to say, I don't use it very often. Probably I should, but it's not easy to put on. It's a bit painful, especially if the weather's not good.
Yeah, and you're parked up in a muddy field somewhere and you've got to try and negotiate all of that.
I'll hold my hand up and say I should use it more, but I don't. That's the thing with security. If it's easy to do, you'll use it. If it's not, you won't.
Yeah, the best security is the security you use, not the one you don't, because it's too hard. You're right there.
Okay, the second thing is, and this is where I think we've been very lax previously, and that's location.
Yeah. We've always used, or often used, like, what is it, search for sites?
Search for sites, park for night.
And park for night, because
I also sometimes use Google Maps to find my own.
And they give you recommendations, you see. They say to you, this is a nice quiet site. This is exactly what I did, actually. I did my homework on the one where Merlin got vandalised. But clearly I didn't do my homework well enough, because although the reviews of the site were excellent, apparently, and I'm not judging any areas here, I don't know the area, but according to quite a few comments we had,
people who live locally
have said there are some very rough areas very close to what seemed like a nice quiet semi-rural location, which didn't come up on any reviews.
One lady said, oh please don't ever go back and stay anywhere near that area, it's awful.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, I think she's one of the people who said come and stay on our drive, which was awesome. But but you know, we didn't realise that, so it's not sufficient just to look at the reviews that they give you for a specific park up. And I think it was the Cornish man who commented, who said, have you thought that maybe criminals actually target those apps as well? Because they know that people like us will go and park there, and if they want to steal from you, they've got an ideal place to say, right, there'll be some campervans, motorhomes parked up there, because they'll all be using that app. And what this guy has said to us is don't use those apps. Basically find your own park ups. So we haven't quite decided how that will sit with us, whether we will or won't do that. But what it has made us realise is that we need to really investigate the whole area, not just think, how's that car park, how does that look?
But for sure, we won't be using semi-rural stroke urban car parks like that anymore.
No. Also, some advice that Ken from Life is Too Short has put on one of his vlogs was that check for broken glass. He was in Brighton the other day, and he was driving up and down Madeira Drive or whatever it is, and found loads and loads of broken glass where cars had been broken into for theft. So if you park up, come to park up, and you see loads of broken glass on the ground, it's probably a sign that you shouldn't stop there. Obviously, there's also the other things like evidence of drug taking of any sort of description, or lots of rubbish there. I mean, that's a bit different, but sometimes, which shows that there's been maybe people there regularly chucking their rubbish. Unfortunately, with this one, we arrived after dark, and of course that's another main thing, isn't it, Gray? Not to arrive after dark if you can possibly avoid it. We didn't have a choice. We'd been driving a long time, and we needed to have a rest. And in the semi-darkness, it actually looked okay. But if you can arrive in the daytime for your park up, you can really investigate your surroundings much more closely. We may have noticed some clues on the way there that would have put us off from parking there had we arrived in there at the daytime. So always check the wider area really. the wider urban area or the wider rural area, wherever you are.
The next category is deterrents. Obviously, deterrents need to be fairly visible, but from my point of view, they also need to be very practical. For example, I don't really want to screw four cameras around the van, and then wire them inside. So it's got to be something that we can use very simply, and we're still considering that, but we will undoubtedly go for some sort of CCTV system. I would love it if I could have something that's wireless and magnetic, so that you can just at night whack it on the outside and then next morning take it off again. I've already found some lights that could work like that, and I've seen another person's vlog where they've turned them into magnetic ones, so you could just these are all motion sensor ones, so you could put those onto the van on all four sides and put those out at night, and hopefully that would deter anybody, because if you're up to no good and you're sneaking up on a van and suddenly you're bathed in light, that's got to be a bit of a put off for them. I would say, I mean, if they're very determined, it won't put them off, of course it won't, but the casual abuser, the casual vandaliser,
part-time vandal.
Yeah, part-time ones, yeah. Yeah, the inexperienced ones.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will make them run for cover quicker. So they are the sort of things that we're looking at, aren't
Motion sensors,
Yeah.
So motion camera, lights, that type of thing.
I mean, there's one other thing that another YouTuber, M from Vans for the Memories, she pointed out. And we hadn't really thought of this. That
really well observed by her, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Thought? Yeah.
And she said, "Do you think, because she knows that we've got on our back windows YouTube advert for Wizard in the Wild, and I could just imagine these lads, if they were the ones who were in the car park earlier in the evening, sitting there, maybe smoking their joints or having a laugh, whatever they're doing, just turning to the right. Oh, look, they've got a YouTube channel." And then another one of them saying, "Oh yeah, we could get on that." So we're going to remove those.
Yeah.
So thanks for that tip, Em.
Yeah, that was brilliant insight. That
Vans for the Memories. Go and have a look at her YouTube site, YouTube channel.
The other deterrent that some people have mentioned is sitting right here.
Oh, dogs, fierce dogs. We've got to get ourselves a fierce dog.
We need some sort of rotty in the van, I think.
Do you think this one would do?
Fierce dog. These two, not a peep out of them. Not a peep. We did have a schnauzer years ago, and she was always on high alert. She would have been a brilliant guard dog. She didn't, you only had to...
but we would never get any sleep.
No, we'd never get any sleep, but she would have been perfect
You're
for
right,
this.
you can go back down.
But a dog barking is obviously got to be a good deterrent as well. And something I'm quite interested in thinking about is the sort of psychology of how the van looks. Merlin's quite cute, he's usually, when he's clean, he's not at the moment, but he's white, shiny, with a lovely red flash that we like.
He's a pretty boy, isn't he?
Yeah, and it's like saying,
like
come and hit, steady, come and hit me, He doesn't look very mean, let's face it. He does look like, I was going to say like his owners, that sounds really vain. Not like his owners, he looks like he belongs to someone who is perhaps older. He doesn't look boy racerish at all. So I'm quite interested going forward into thinking how we can hedge him up a bit. It'll cost money, so it won't be a quick thing, and we've got to carefully decide what we do. Whether it's a little bit of rap, rapping. I'm not talking about music here. A little bit of rap, maybe looking at upgrading wheels and tyres. Maybe some, what are they called? Those things at the front, bull bars. Is that right?
Yeah, bull bars.
Bull bars, sport lights. I don't know. As I say, all of these things cost money, so I'm dreaming at the moment.
And all we really need is a force field.
Exactly. But I do think we are stereotypical. I think from some of the comments we've had as well, people saying, you're clearly very elderly people, you should be doing your knitting, and I'll tell you, it's made me chuckle actually, some of the comments.
One comment
it's been quite funny.
Referred to the First and Second World War.
Yeah,
I think
1940 friggin' too. How old am I? I wasn't around quite then. It was funny though. We have had some fun with some of these comments, to be fair. But but it has taught us something. People perceive us as people of a certain age in a certain van. So, as I say, over the coming weeks, months, whatever, we are going to look at how Merlin appeals. Would people be so ready to attack him if it looked like it could be a couple of young blokes or whatever, young girls in there?
Whatever you do, you won't immune. We know we can't immune ourselves from it.
There's always risk.
But it's just taking a certain category of
risk down.
Yeah.
It's diminishing the risk. And we haven't committed to any of that yet because we're still not sure how we'll get on with the off-grid part of all of this.
Yeah.
We don't want to save up, spend lots of money and still be terrified out of our wits doing it. But so that's deterrence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's the final category?
The final category is preparedness.
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 Yeah, preparedness. Or being prepared, basically, like the Boy Scouts. We weren't really, were we? We did have some scissors and some tiny little white bin bags.
So we're going to make sure that we take large sheets of plastic with us in case any windows get stoved in again. Gorilla tape, other makes are available, and we will take stuff like that to. Some people have explained that there's plastic you can put over the windows. I haven't investigated that yet. That will, if somebody throws a brick through it, it won't all disintegrate.
Yeah, it keeps it intact, doesn't it?
But I've still to look at that.
Yeah. So I mean.
So that would be like an emergency kit to.
That's easy to get hold of, and also, of course, preparedness is about the state you leave the van in when you go to sleep. Basically, if there's anything funny about all of this, it was trying to see Graham get his trousers on and get out there to see what thugs have done to our van.
But you always think that's funny.
Well, yeah, but don't tell them. But you know what I mean? We were caught literally with our trousers down. Graham was asleep in bed. I was in the loo. I mean, but it's being prepared. It's simple things like making sure the driver's seat is facing forward so you can quickly get in to the driver's seat, trousers or no trousers, and drive off should you need to. It's not about having clutter in the wrong places, so you can't.
It's not easy in a small van. You tend to move stuff from the bed and put it on the driver's chair.
Yeah, it's just the way it works.
We've got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Leave it so that we could drive away quickly.
Yeah, and making sure. I mean, we are quite good at this, but making sure that at least one of you has a charged phone. Sometimes you can just forget and the batteries go flat, and if you need to call for help, make sure that one of you is in a position to be able to do that. And make sure you can throw light on the situation immediately. It's being prepared to be able to get out of there as quickly as you can. It's something we could not have done. We got out as quickly as we could, as you've probably seen if you've watched the vlog. But we couldn't do anything too quickly based on the way in which we left the van. I think you do get complacent. You think that these things shouldn't happen, and quite rightly they shouldn't. But yes, they do, rarely, but they do happen.
Yeah.
So that's what we need to work on, really. So it's about protecting your van from being stolen when you're not in it. It's about making sure you check that the location you are in is as safe as it possibly can be by doing your homework, arriving in the daylight, etc. And making sure there's no glass or evidence of things that you wouldn't want to come up to bite you at night, or if you leave the van alone. Deterring people from thinking your van is a good target with obvious stickers on it and things saying CCTV and smile, you're on camera, etc, etc. And obviously being prepared if the worst does happen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of food for thought for us, isn't there? Really, it surprises you really how obvious some of these things are, but they've only become obvious because of what's happened to us. And if us doing this can help you as well to stay safe, then our work is done.
Yeah. Okay, moving forward. We're hoping that in the next week or so that we're going to organise ourselves a pub stopover. We're probably going to rejoin the Caravan and Motorhome Club and book up a CL site or two. So just to get ourselves back into it, because if we find that stressful, it may be quite hard for us to do wild camping again. And quite honestly, we don't know how we're going to feel about that till we do it. So we don't want to go straight into it. So we'll build up to that, and obviously we'll do videos of that as and when it happens.
And you're going to produce some technical vlogs, aren't you? So that we can bring you along with us. So that if we decide that we are going to try and do the off-grid, or just generally improve security anyway, that as Graham decides what cameras, etc., and what we do to Merlin, we will do technical vlogs that we'll put out to share with you about that as well, won't we?
A few people have given me advice on motion sensor lights and things like that. Stephen from Country Van Life TV, he's given me what he uses. What I really want is something, because those ones are solar. I don't want anything that's just solar. I want something that you can charge up yourself on USB, and then take them out magnetically, put them on the van. It's a great thing to have, is a big metal van that you can just attach things like that onto. So I'll probably do vlogs about all the different bits and pieces that we're...
got to do our homework, haven't we, first? We're not rushing into this. The other reason being, of course, that some of these things are necessary and some won't be, depending on the level to which we immerse ourselves back out in the wild. If we're only ever on campsites, you don't need to go so overboard on your security. So it's kind of a bit of an evolving picture, isn't it, really? Seeing how we feel on a campsite, and which we will film to show you, and we'll tell you how it all goes, or a pub stopover, or whatever we do. And as we said, the technicals will come out along the journey, really.
Yeah. So thanks for bearing with us.
Thank you.
Some people have said that some of the recent vlogs that we've done have been quite hard to watch.
Yeah.
We can understand that.
Don't know if I ever want to watch it again.
No, it was quite hard when we were editing it, wasn't it? Well, we didn't do that much editing, but it was hard having to watch it.
I sort of don't think I ever want to watch it again, really, to be honest with you. It's out there now for people, and if it helps them, great. You know, that's it, really, job done, sort of thing. It's quite harrowing, wasn't it?
Yeah. So thanks for watching, and we've got a Facebook group now, which I'll put on the screen. So do come and join us on that group. Just search for Wizard in the Wild and click join. We'd love to see you there.
And I just want to send all our love to all of you, because all of those fantastic comments, 99.9% have been awesome, and you are really, really helping us to make us realise that there might be some bad guys out there, but the vast majority in the world are good, kind people, so thank you.
Yeah, and you trolls who keep sending me these weird messages, keep them coming, because it makes me chuckle.
Yeah, we quite like it, actually. It's a bit of sport for us, so don't you worry. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Take care.